3 and verse 2.
3 and 2.
He's bucking up against God. Let me show you something, Nicholas.
Romans 3 and verse 2. Much every way, cheerfully, because unto them were committed the oracles of God.
The message of God is going to be given to the Israelites. Read on.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
Right.
God forbid. Ye let God be true, but every man a liar.
Every man's a liar. So if it's not coming out of the scriptures, there ain't nothing to say, my brother. 147 and 8 and 19.
King James, bro. Psalms 147 and verse 19. He showed his words unto Jacob.
He showed his word unto Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Right, go on.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Right.
He had not dealt so with any nation.
No other nation the Most High has been dealing with. This is what we're trying to show you, brother. This is why we have to know who you are to see if the Most High gave you the word.
Nation, ladies, you alright? Yeah. A nation of Israel. Does that mean nationality?
Yeah, that's 6.
Yes.
Brother.
What am I asking? Nation of Israel. Does that mean your nationality?
Yes.
Yes.
So, what nation are you from?
Israel.
How do you know your nation? You're from Israel.
20 and verse 15.
Mom is in
Because you keep speaking, we ain't even got to the nuts and crannies of the Bible. Get that?
Before, I need to ask questions.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Ask questions. Yeah, of course.
Understood, Nicholas. Understood.
We're about to answer you now. Listen up, brother. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
You know that Moses is speaking to only Israel in this scripture.
Deuteronomy, right. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken,
listen, right,
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
right,
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
The curses which you're about to read are going to happen to the Israelites if they don't listen to the commandments of God. Now we're going to see who they are on today. 46.
Verse 46.
Curses.
And they shall be upon thee.
Not good, is it? We're not in a good situation today, are we? Nicholas, go on.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder and upon thy seed forever.
A sign and for a wonder and forever. So today we'll be able to use the curses to identify who the Israelites are. Just like you know Primark is Primark by the sign. Just like we know Powerland is Powerland by the and Bone Mark, you understand? The curses are on them for a sign and for a wonder. Get me, 48.
Verse 48.
Right?
So what are the signs?
Getting them now.
Read them right now, brother. Verse 48. Listen up. Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies.
Serve thy enemies, right? Go on.
Which the Lord shall send thee against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou hast
all the people who had yokes about put upon our neck in slavery.
So are we the Israelites?
We are the Israelites that Moses was speaking to in Egypt.
They give us that. Yeah.
That's 68.
Let's get another one. Verse 68. Because all these curses has to fit us as a nation of people.
The people who these curses happen to are the Israelites. You understand?
Right.
Get that 68.
Verse 68.
Run.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Egypt means slavery according to the Bible, brother Nicholas. Get that. Exodus 20 and verse 2.
Exodus 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God which have brought thee out the land of
Egypt, right? Go on.
Out of the house of bondage.
Egypt means bondage, which is slavery. Go on. 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Into slavery.
Again with ships.
My people them are from the Caribbean. If I ask you for you, listen, bro. If I ask you if you ask me what my nationality was back in the day, I would say Caribbean.
No, it's an
ethnic group, yeah. But how did
your nationality is different?
Our nationality is all in the Bible. You understand? Okay.
That's what I'm saying to you. Why does my nationality matter if you're going to tell me about my ethnic group? Then I'll tell you something different.
My ethnic group would be black today. Yeah. Okay. Read on. So it said, bring you into what? Egypt with ships.
Again with ships.
So how did I get to the Caribbean?
Ships.
Slavery on ships, right?
So did that happen to the Chinese man, the white man, the Asian man? It only happened to us. Right. All right. Let me read on. By the way whereof I spank unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We won't see our homeland again, where we was brought to in the promised land. Go on.
And then ye shall be sold unto your enemies,
right?
For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So when we go off the ships, we're going to be sold. You understand? What happened to us? We were sold for slaves, right? All these communities today are built off the slave labor that we went through as a people.
So
We are
what
the
was
Israelites that the Bible.
purpose of the curses, these curses.
Get me 64.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you more curses just to show you who they fit as a people. Go on.
So so my question is why we have the two comparison? Who is a real, who is a fake?
We're gonna find out. Revelations.
Let me I'll get Matthew 24.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
2 seconds, bro.
We've got a comparison here because we've got to see what the scriptures say this man look like, you understand? Go on, Nicholas, you're asking the right questions, you know, my brother. So hopefully you go home with some knowledge today. Go on.
That's right. Matthew 24 and verse 24. But there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, in so much that if they were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
So we look at this and we see today who's depicted as Christ. Understand? But which one is false? Which one is right? We got to read the Bible, innit? Revelation 1 and verse 1.
Revelations 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So we know now this is revealing of Jesus Christ. That's what revelation means. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And
no, wait. Which God shewed unto his servants. Just go on.
John, I'll read. Revelation 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
So he gave this unto John to show what's gonna happen. You understand? We gotta show you according to the Bible what Christ looks like. Go on. 11.
And he, alright, verse 11. Saying, I am Alpha and Omega.
So we're talking about Christ now, yeah? Alpha and Omega. Right, read.
And the last, which thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches.
So John sees something right now. We gotta show you what he sees. Read.
Verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps of the golden girdle.
He has on a long garment right now, yeah? So we know this is a man standing up. Read.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Who has woolly hair? Black people, that's woolly hair, right? Go on.
Like yours.
Just like mine. Just like mine, Nicholas. Go on.
White like wool.
You see, I'm getting grey hairs because of yo boy. Read.
As white as snow.
Yeah.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Like a flame of fire. We get that when we drink wine because Christ was a wine bibber. You understand? He drinks wine. Read on.
And his feet.
I can see your feet right now, my brother.
Oh.
And his feet unto fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
So what color is brass?
Brass. 1 second. I'm good. Just give me some scriptures. You're right.
Getting the word of God.
Oh, Will.
That's the devil the Bible speaks of, brother. Don't worry about that when that comes past. Read on.
Let me start again, verse 15.
Brass,
and his feet
brass
unto like fine brass.
Brass is a derivative of brown.
Brown, yeah.
Like a penny, right? Go on.
Now the same colour your feet is the same colour your whole body. So, and his feet unlike to fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace. So if you got brown and you burn to what colour is it going to come out?
Gonna come up as in
even darker. It's going to come out even darker. If you got brown and it's burnt in a furnace, it's going to come out dark. So Christ is a dark.
And he had woolly hair, white woolly hair. You understand? This is a black man. Look on your flyer. Look on your flyer because
I'm just trying to.
You're trying to process it, innit? Get me Daniel 10 and 6. 5 to 6, 5 to 6, 5 to 6. So this is another description of Jesus in the Bible. You only get the description of Jesus in the Bible, my brother. So there's no point in going to him to find out who that. We've got to find out who this is, because that's a real man called Caesar Borgia. Get that.
Daniel's 10 and verse 5. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, with lions were girded with fine gold of Upas.
Euphas. So we had on a girdle as well, just like in Revelation, right? Go on.
His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in colour to polished brass.
Polished brass, that's brass burned in a furnace, right? This is his arms and feet now it's describing. So why would his arms and feet be different to his face? Vibes cartel, yeah? So, you gotta understand, this is a black man in the Bible, you understand? Get me Jeremiah 17:4. Yep. All the prophets, Moses, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, they're all black people, get it?
Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. And though do you want black into the ground?
That's it. That's
what
right. I got the right.
Yeah, never mind. Chapter 14 and verse 2 in the book of Jeremiah.
Right.
Judah moureth, and the gates thereof.
Judah is the tribe that Christ come from, right? Go on.
Languish, they are black unto the ground.
They're black onto the ground, you know, like soil. You know how it's the different colours of brown? This is what the Judah looks like, the Israelites look like, you understand? Judah is like a slang word for Israel, you understand? Get me Solomon.
Sons of Solomon.
Because I told you all the prophets on there are black people, you understand? I wouldn't say that if I can't get it in there. Get me that.
So my question is, how did we become inferior? If we were the superior, how did we become inferior?
How did we become inferior? Get me that's it, yeah. Get me that.
Because if we laid on all these and we are described by this, and then we were the supreme, so why did we overturn?
Actually, let me get 28 and verse 1 first.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I understand. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So, break that down.
Cool. So, the first promise the Most High told Moses to tell the Israelites